Hi, I'm Professor Render. This is the Link to the Past Randomizer Daily Race. We have ourselves casual boots. This is actually one of the modes that is for I think that's the Courage pendant in the playoffs. We have Immortal Koi and Lana Bean. Lana Bean we saw the other day. Um, and Immortal Koi is someone that's still around and is doing the best. So yeah, casual boots, we start with a standard start, so we have to go through Hyrule Castle first. But we also start with an assured sword, meaning we have our fighter sword right out of the get-go. And we spawn with boots on our feet, meaning we can get the boots. We have the boots on our hands right away. And also, because we took the boots out, we have our insert inventory. We put in its place of the regular boots a green 20. Now, this green 20 is not affected by logic, so we could see the green 20 pop up in any of the boots in one of the two boots checks because it's not affected by that logic. And we are underway. The moon is crashing. Run for your lives. This is not Majora's Mask. Bombs to start us off here. It's like one Mokoi is using the palette shuffle, which is my favorite thing. It almost looks like it's autumn, almost like it's orange. No, it looks like a bit. It looks like maybe like the rocks are like copper, like Minecraft copper oxidization. I don't know. We get more bombs here, and Lana Bean immediately hitting it for the bombs. We get 3 pieces of heart, still in pretty much the same area, same lockstep, all the way through. Because this is kind of normal. And to answer a question in chat, the boots are actually, we spawn with the boots in hand. It's in our starting inventory. And because we have our boots in our spawning inventory, we took out the boots from the item pool, and in its place is a green 20, which is not affected by logic. So yeah, how is everyone's night going? For those who are in Eastern, or how's your evening going anywhere else in the world? Here in the States. Just chilling out here, just having a good time. Wanted to do something while I relax a bit. Yeah, this is just your standard escape. We're gonna see both of our players going through. Not really much to talk about. Just using. It's more about optimizing your dashes and getting the kills as fast as you can. There's a moon pearl to start us off in the boomerang chest. Yeah, and for those who have were coming over from the, I think they're going to be coming over soon. But for those who actually came over from the exciting SD2 matchup between RD Welsh and Solsky, that was what I didn't catch all of it, but what I could tell, it looked like it was a very close finish, and it looks. I mean, it'll be interesting to see what happens later on. And yeah, so we're going through here. This is pretty normal. Here we have Zelda on she's right behind us. She's doing her best to catch up. Different ways to get over to that, get over to the bridge, so that she can quickly get down to get over to back our wraparound. So by the time we get out of this escape, we will have some. We will actually have a bit of. We'll see our players going over to Kakariko, Lost Woods. This is your typical start. A lot of the time with casual boot seeds, there's really not much to say about this opening because it is just a standard and we have boots. I mean, both players are going to be right next to each other anyway. It's just the route that comes out later is what comes out after the sequence is what determines I may just change things up a bit if we have some immediate divergence after this escape. But we will also see the backup escape here. We have boots, so we don't have to spend a bomb here. Get some rupees, and more rupees. So that was a total of 30 rupees in hand. So yeah, things are going normal. I do think we saw the map earlier, so we will get an item here. So yeah, both of them are coming out around 5:23, which is a good time to get out of escape. Yeah, and we get hammer from Honest Sanctuary. Yeah, I was right about the item over on Sanctuary. So we're gonna go ahead and use that. It's a hammer. It's 10% sword damage. And then we're gonna immediately check the bonk rocks because we have boots on our feet. Looks like from our map check, we got a red crystal at Hera, and also a red crystal at Eastern Palace, and then we have our regular crystal at Desert Palace. So that's nice. So we will have 3 pendants in the Dark World, obviously. As far as the actual placement of the medallion of the pendants is concerned, we don't know until we get gloves. I think that was a net. Yeah, that was a bug net. I had to look at my back feed. So yeah, there's a confirmation from Lana Bean. She has the information about Eastern Palace and Hera being the red crystals, and just 10 arrows from the mushroom spot. We're gonna go ahead and drop down here into the thief drop down. Get some bombs out of that. So now we're not gonna kill Aga for just some pesky bombs, and we're gonna see an immediate save and quit from Immortal Koi. This is that divergence I was referring to originally. We're going to see Immortal Koi put off Kakariko for a little bit. Some runners will elect to do this, thinking that if they can get some items that will increase the amount of the stuff they can check in Kakariko, the better. So example, like you get a flute, you'll be able to check that to activate the flute along the way. You can get a ball, check Sick Kid, or if you get if you get the powder, you can check Magic Bat. Just a bit of extra, something that I don't personally do, but I know some people will do it, and that's what Immortal Koi elected to do. Getting some heart pieces out of there in heart containers, and there's that powder I was referring to. As I was mentioning it, there's that powder. So Immortal Koi will have access to the Magic Bat when he goes over to go to Kakariko. So that's not too bad overall. Lana Bean going to go ahead and drop down into the well. She'll get 5 items out of here. Immortal Koi into Medieval Moldorm Cave, getting a sword and a red boomerang. My favorite boomerang because you can splash delete. There's a mirror from the well. That's always nice to see. So we have access to once we have access to the mountain, we will be able to go ahead and we'll be able to get over to East Step Mountain. And I would imagine a Motokoi will be setting up for a water walk here after we see the Asteroid Cave check. Chicken Husk is just 20 rupees. Asteroid Cave is just 20 rupees as well. So yeah, we're gonna see that that water walk set up, getting into pit state, and then once Motokoi jumps into water from doing a drop down, he'll be walking on the water. And now he has a choice to either do the hobo or do the waterfall ferry. And Motokoi likes to do the waterfall ferry. This is also kind of common. This is also pretty common for runners to avoid hobo, if they don't have flippers and they're doing water walks, just so they can guarantee the waterfall ferry check without Moon Pearl. Obviously, we have Moon Pearl from the Boomerang chest in Highwood Castle, not really to be concerned about. And we had 20 rupees on the Zora ledge, and Motokoi going to now check hobo. This is something that also sometime I don't know if this is also common. It could also be a check for Hylia Island. There's our 20 rupees, or 20 single rupees that is in place of the boots, and once again, that is not affected by logic. So it could just be placed. It's part of that part of the junk pool. So there you go. We got Lana Bean's gonna go get her Red Boomerang and Master Sword from Mini Modern Cave, and there was only bombs from the hobo, so we're gonna go ahead and save quit out of that. And it looks like we're gonna now see a Motokoi heading over to Kakariko. Now, a Motokoi does have that extra check that Lana Bean did not do. I don't know if Lana Bean had already picked up the powder. I would imagine she has it, but I would have to see her quick swap or her menu, because she was over in that area where where that powder was, and that was over from the two floodgate checks. And we did not, and according to one of our trackers, being honest with me, there is no damn check. So it was actually kind of interesting to go and do this early Mini Boulder Cave rush and not getting the item from the dam, and that was which had the powder, and which Motokoi is going to immediately follow. This is pretty early in the game, but it makes sense because of the play that he made, giving him an extra check. It is the gloves, so we do have Darkwood access, so Lana Bean will have to come back and get that powder soon. And Lana Bean is just going to go ahead and save quit, not checking the hobo. Which is fine, it's just bombs anyway. And here comes Lana Bean heading over to check out the dam. So with Motokoi getting the gloves, Motokoi will probably be hitting the Dark World through the Village of Outcast portal, and Lana Bean is immediately going to go ahead and get that powder. She might either wait until she doesn't have any more checks, or she may turn it in immediately. I don't know. Probably she might be more focused on getting checks over checking the powder immediately. And there's Lana's powder. And yeah, we're going heading over to the desert, checking out the desert ledge and also Akina's cave. Or just Akina's cave, that too. Now normally if you sometimes you'll just want to just completely hyper focus the Agina Cave check. There's also Morokoi's mirror from the well. Um, sometimes you'll want to just check the desert ledge first before you get to check Agina's. And a lot of you gets rewarded with a bow. So that will lead her into Eastern Palace. So it's just so we'll delete the powder check for now, which will lead her to her clubs. But we will see a new check from Lana Bean, which Amorokoi has not done. We have Sash Raw's Hut, and we also will get a crystal clear from Lana Bean. Green Pennant is going to be in Turtle Rock. Surprise, surprise. We get a bottle of a green potion in it in the middle chest of Sash Raw's Hut. So that will be another check that Immortal Koi does. This will be a check that Immortal Koi doesn't get until later, and that's fine. So in theory, if Immortal Koi really wanted to hyper focus, not check Hakuriko until the very end, he would have gotten 2 total checks in return. So we're gonna go ahead and see that map check from Immortal Koi. Meyer and Thieves Town are the remaining pendants. So Kana Samaria will if Kana Samaria is ever found, the only thing that the cane will really hold, unless pendants are required, is for that right side check in GT. If this becomes a caneless seed, of course. So we're gonna go ahead and see Immortal Koi checking Skullwoods here. This is a Crystal Skullwoods. Now this is something that it really depends on the person running this. You either just go in there first because it's you're close by to it, or you just completely avoid it entirely. I'm in the group that avoids it unless it's either a pendant or I have the fire rod for if it's a crystal, and that sometimes will bite me. That has happened to me before. And so far we just have so far from Immortal Koi we're only seeing seeing dungeon items. And oh no, a lot of being getting another Stalfos to spawn just a little bit below just a little bit below where the Stalfos would normally spawn. I would just refuse to spawn. The way that room works is that anywhere if you're in a certain tile of somewhere in certain tiles in the room, it will create a plus shape of Stalfoses. Going in around, I believe, clockwise order or something like that. Or no, counterclockwise. I think it's counterclockwise, not clockwise. Whereas I think it's counterclockwise. I don't know, but I know it makes a plus shape of Stalfoses, and Stalfos won't spawn if there's something blocking it, or if there's something blocking it. So like either the door above or that pot in the middle. Get the big key for Eastern, which is fine. We kind of had a feeling this would come up anyway because Lana Bean had, well, I missed it. Lana Bean had found that there isn't anything. There was only I think one item in there, but the others it was big key locked, which is lamp locked. And as our tracker's pointing out, and I did catch it earlier while I was explaining stuff, we did see the tempered sword is on the bumper ledge. Go ahead. Lana Bean's gonna go ahead and look for that Armos Knight, or that Igor in the dark. This room is not too bad if you know once you figure it out. It's also nice to have the fire rod on hand, so that way you can light it without a problem. Nothing on Graveyard Ledge, and we're gonna go ahead and see the check for King's Tomb. It's just bombs, so nothing else to report here with this Graveyard Ledge and King's Tomb check. And Murdercoy is going to use the bonk strat, the bonk method to get to prevent getting a mirror bonked. That I've seen being a lot more popular as of late. It's a quick time saving method in case you want to link together Dark World checks. In the case of Murdercoy, going to check Village of Outcast next. And we also did see from Lana Bean that Eastern Palace was cleared. She will strike First Blood. And there only was a heart piece in that Seaship house. And now we're gonna Murdercoy just gonna immediately go into Thieves Town, not checking the brewery or the chest game. Will be later on. It's going to be a pendant Thieves Town. And this is another case of this is really dependent on if Murdercoy chooses to bail out of the first 4 checks or commit to this play. You can't full clear this. You have a hammer in hand. Wannabe is going to go ahead and check the sick kid here, and that will give her 20 rupees, and that will lead her back over to the magic bat, where she can get her gloves and Darkwood access. So we have 50 rupees. That's 1 item. And mitts. So Murdercoy is going to bail out of that after getting that mitts. So yeah, this is kind of the thing you see here, is that sometimes if you're doing a pendant Thieves Town, you might just bail out to the first 4 checks, and in that case, the mitts being just right in the front of Thieves Town in a French vanilla spot is great for Murdercoy. Now we'll see if Lana Beam chooses to stick with the Thieves Town play and go in fully. And there's a Tempered Sword for Murdercoy in the brewery, so we have knowledge of all 4 swords, and I believe that's one. And I believe that one bottle, or not one bottle. I believe that one sword that was on Bumper Ledge is not going to get picked up anytime soon. So now Murdercoy is going to go ahead and check out the dig game. Gonna probably link that together with the Smith chain because you got the mitts so early. Just 20 rupees from that, so not really all that exciting. But now Lana Bean's gonna go ahead and check out that Thieves Town play. We'll see if this if Lana Bean sticks with the Thieves Town play after getting the mitts, or if Murdercoy or she'll follow Murdercoy and bail out to the mitts. Because the mitts right now opens up a lot of stuff. So now Murdercoy is going to go ahead and check out hammer pegs. That leads to a fire rod, and now that Skull Woods can be clearable, is now clearable, and yeah, Lana Bean is going to elect to stick to follow Murdercoy in his footsteps, and just going to go ahead and bail out to that mirror, which is fine. Commonly, if you want to gamble. Gambling Thieves Town is kind of risky, and choosing to gamble the first 4 is totally fine if you do not want to commit to a dungeon, especially considering you have 2 dungeon items right out of the gate. Mainly with the map that we saw earlier on. there's Lana Bane's Temperate Sword, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead now and see that Skull Woods play. This will be a clear for Motokoi. And Lana Bane just gonna go ahead and check out Stumpy here. Just 20 rupees. Might just be that continuation of just kind of following from Stumpy backwards to set herself up to just get the purple chest quicker. To make the purple chest route quicker. K45 is just 50 rupees. 50 rupees. And Lana Bane going to go ahead and going to get the 20 rupees from off of the dig game, or at least get the information about the 20 rupees on the dig game. And we're going to go ahead and see Motokoi fighting off Mafula. This will be his first crystal. And Lana Bane choosing to bail out of it as well. And that was a really... And as I say that... Mafula is down as far I was looking away, and that will be the first crystal for Motokoi. So Lana Bane gonna go ahead and get that fire rod that was on Hammer Pegs. And we're going to go ahead and see the Hype Cave play from Motokoi. And it's also choosing not to do the purple chest just yet, especially because, and I don't blame Motokoi for doing this because that fire rod is pretty big. That gave Motokoi a crystal. So, believe the purple chest out is understandable in that case. Alright, High Cave for Motokoi, just 20 rupees to start things off. Showing off some chest turns, I believe. Get a lamp out of that, and that's all we really found. We now actually have logical access up to the mountain through the lamp and the gloves. So, that mountain cave play is very, very spicy, and I say this because if Motokoi goes and gets the bow out of Vagina's cave, which is we'll maybe see it. I don't know. It's pretty out of the way right now for Motokoi, but if he chooses to get it, then that will give Motokoi the access to Pyramid Fairy. But Lana Bane going to go ahead and go through Skull Woods. She will be clearing this out as well. That will be 2 crystals. Just going off of that kicker of the bow, getting it out of Agina's cave as early as she did. Now, sometimes the early Agina play might be considered very risky, and it kind of is. It really depends on how you route it, how you route the opening. Some people would opt to just check after checking the dam. They'll go ahead and just head over towards the desert. That's also a perfectly fair play. But sometimes you may just do it after you do Medieval Dark Cave, and that becomes a bit of a gamble in its own right. And it won't be until I believe after getting the flute for Motokoi that leads to that situation where maybe that the call is to get that bow, because you'll be right in the area after getting mired just through a mirror. And we're going to go ahead and see Immortal Koi going through um, the Old Man Cave, following that logic through. Oh, and actually, it's something that Hitman's pointing out in the chat too. That Koi might also opt to just check the Agena Cave after Purple Chest, which is also perfectly fine as well. That's a reasonable way that you're in the area after checking Purple Chest, considering Koi left out the Purple Chest for getting the Fire Rod. And that makes sense. We get another bottle on our hands, and that's a Fearing bottle. While Lana Bean is going to go ahead and start up the Maka fight. She might be Lana Bean a little bit of danger here. She might be a little bit careful. She does have the green potion, so she's gonna go ahead and pop it and use that Fire Rod to her advantage. She might be a little bit careful. She just does not want to get hit by the projectiles that Motfilla fires, or get hit by the spikes. And down goes Motfilla, while Mortal Koi is going to get half magic from Tower of Hera. And the big key is just right there as well. And we're going to go ahead and climb this because this is a crystal. So for Lana Bean, that is crystal number 2. Okay, so we get Quake out of this. Okay, so Quake isn't all that interesting because the Quake, because we know that the 2 medallion dungeons are penance. And to also answer a question in chat from Bright-Eyed 77, the Fire Rod was in Hammer Pigs. So Immortal Koi will get his second crystal again with that kicker. A lot of people with the kicker of that bow was able to get it out of Agena's cave early by doing an early Agena's cave, and then following it up with an Eastern Palace play. But also gave Lana Bean her first bottle. Out of the middle chest in Sasharaw's hut, and there's just nothing really else to report here with that Fire Rod, but Floating Island in particular. Looks like Immortal Koi just wanted to go and do wanted to go for the Dark Dead Mountain first, ended up being dead rocked, but going to despawn the dead rocks. And we have Quake as our entry into Turtle Rock. No Kanasamaria yet, so we can only get the full magic refill, but that's it. And also Lana Bean is going to go ahead and set up for the Purple Chest. Oh, that's where Kanasamaria is. And she's probably either like really excited to see it or very, very upset. That's an Ether medallion for Immortal Koi in the bunk chest of Hookshot Cave. So that key is actually in a pretty rude spot. So if Immortal Koi doesn't check Purple Chest and gets into go mode before that point, and the big key's on the right side, It'll take quite a while for Immortal Koi to get that purple chest, unless he has last location to everything else and knows where it is. It would just be a big time sink because you have to climb up the mountain. And some more divergence coming up from Immortal Bean and Immortal Koi and Lana Bean. Yeesh. Spiral Cave for Immortal Koi. Will give him the blue potion. Now, that is the last bottle that we know of. Immortal Koi has yet to go into and to get the bottle out of the Sauce Raw's hot. So now that Immortal Koi is going to go ahead and do Paradox Cave next. First shield and some bombs in the bottom too. And Lana Bean's going to go in and head into pod here. Makes sense. You have 5 items to get here. And we have a heart container, a piece of heart, 20 rupees, another piece of heart, and another piece of heart. Nothing out of Paradox Cave. So, yeah, Lana Bean gonna now head into pod. You're now just kind of so what are to see here? Okay, Sauce Raw, but this is gonna be a bowlless Eastern Palace, I believe. Well, but with a hammer in hand, it's more looking like. Okay, pod. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, like going into the Dark Hole to get to pod. So maybe they're going for Bowless Pod here. No, going for Bowless Pod. May want to follow that with Bowless Eastern. But we know that Eastern doesn't have anything, and it doesn't have the bow. So Immortal Koi will be losing time to that. And as Captain 1977 is pointing out, pod is bow locked, so you have to get what Koi can do is potion camera unlock. It will be out of logic for Immortal Koi, but that will give him access to the rest of pod. And there is Immortal Koi's final bottle. Lana Bean going for the stair extension again and gets it. Just looking, just need to set it just to get in the right position for a second time, and okay. I was really interested. I was really curious if Lana Bean was actually going to attempt to do a really quick camera jump. Something might have looked. I think Lana Bean may have just saw that it wasn't in the right position, so she just bailed out of it. I don't know. So Immortal Koi will get the information that it is bow locked. Going to potion camera unlock. Yeah, that's kind of what I was kind of thinking Immortal Koi would do, because you have a green potion in hand, you have a blue I'm wondering if this is okay. So Lana Bean opted just to bail out of this. I feel like this might be I don't know if this was if Lana Bean knows the right setup for it. It is a double pixel perfect hammer jump, bomb jump to pull off. It does require 2 specific Y coordinates. So Immortal Koi is now in pod through potion camera unlock. So this is going to be out of logic for Immortal Koi, but from the looks of things, there really wasn't anything to get out of here. So Lonavine will have the luxury of going through killing Helmasaur. She will need to get another key though. Dropping down into the Stalfos room. And that'll be plenty. That'll be plenty for a lot of bean. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and see a Hema fights for Lana Bean. Well, Mordecai will have to bail out of this dungeon because there was no bow in the front or in the back of Pod. And neither will Mordecai see one in Eastern Palace. So yeah, that bow is still a very key for Lana Bean's continued crystal completion. Yeah, I feel like with the stair extension, it's really cool. It's really cool to see it pull off, because it's like, okay, what happened? What just happened? Why did Link suddenly just fly up the stairs and then some? It's still fun to look at. I mean, it gets through a something important. Oh yeah, and also too, but also actually no, oh no, I take that back. It's actually the red king with the statue, putting the statue down, holding the blood down with the statue. Yeah, it doesn't save like that much time. It saves like a couple seconds. It's not like 10 minutes. It's like the most like overpowered trick in the energy speedrun. Or not even in the energy speedrun, just like in randomizer. Yeah, it does take forever. It feels like it takes forever, and that's why like if you just mash left and right while you're pushing the statue, you move faster. And that is enough. Has crystal number 3 for Lana Bean. While I was talking over about that about the Candace Maria and button pushing. So at this point, Lana Bean might consider going up the mountain here. There's nothing else left, I think. Oh, she's gonna set up for a. She may have thought she had flippers, and try to jump in, but she doesn't have it. She could have set up for a she could have set up for the splash station from that position using 3 arrows and 2 bombs, or cane, or using the cane and the red boomerang and some other method. I don't know off the top of my head. Like other thing with the cane and the boomerang off the top of my head. I know off the top of my head, but I know the more cheaper method is the arrows and the bombs. I think it's cheaper, but it's the one that most people will do anyway. The bow, to answer a question in chat from Electrigru, I think. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. It was in Agina's cave. Using the Samaria block to quickly get herself up, to get herself up the stairs, that was something that we saw earlier. We saw from Lana Bean the other day, where she pulled that same trick off with the King of Samaria in hand. You do the same with bombs. It makes you climb up the stairs a lot more faster. Roughly, I believe the same speed as dashing. I think it is the same speed as dashing, but I can't really tell because they look almost similar. They look pretty similar. We're gonna see Catfish from Immortal Koi. Now this is something that Lana Bean has not done. Just gonna get 20 rupees out of it, so nothing too important. But Immortal Koi will follow that into a Zora play. After striking out on Pod and Eastern, looking for a bow. And Zora just gonna give out a heart container, not all that important, so that'll be a saving quid for Koi. And I don't know what else is left for Immortal Koi. Now you could and what you could do is fake flipper to Ice Palace. That's completely fair. It's a fair play to do. You might get cane locked if you choose to do this, because Immortal Koi does not have cane here, but it looks like that might be the case here. Yeah, this is good. This is going to be a fake flipper over to Ice Palace. And Lana Bean will get her fourth crystal from off of Tower of Hera. She now has access to Pyramid Fairy. And both players actually opted to not do the basement, and for good reason as well. We've got both items. There's no need to do the basement. The two items in particular were Half Magic and Quake. And this is something different for Lana Bean. She will have the opportunity to go into Turtle Rock if she chooses to do this. This is Green Banded Turtle Rock, and this is going to be a very interesting call. It'll be a very interesting play to see from Lana Bean if she falls through with this. So we'll do a proximity check. That's fine. And yeah, Immortal Koi is going to go ahead and do Ice Palace. This will be without the king, so he won't have access to Icebreaker. So we're going to do Classic IPBJ. Classic IPBJ. And not be able to get the slash up on the big Stalfos Knight, which would have been a quick kill for Immortal Koi. So yeah, this is something that Koi is going to do. This is one of the more tougher bomb jumps to pull off, because it requires two specific coordinates to hit. You need to find a horizontal and a vertical coordinate. The horizontal part made easier by doing spin clips, as we saw from Mortal Koi, but that vertical component is a little bit more tricky, because you need to have, for Master Sword and up, you need to have at least 1 pixel between the bottom of the bomb shadow and the top outline of the sword. It is very tough to do because you're considering how Link moves. Link moves in an average of 1.5 pixels per frame. I believe it's every if for I believe it's 1 pixel. If it's a pixel up and until for up and right inputs is 2 frames, and left and down inputs is 1 frame. Or 1 pixel per frame. That would be 2 pixels per frame for up and right, and 1 pixel per frame up and down, or left and down. And they also alternate between 1 and 2, I believe. If I'm remembering the way Link moves. But I know the starting position is 2 for up and right, and 1 for left and down. And Mordecai will get the other boomerang. Yeah, and it's very much looking like Turtle might be the play, and that's exactly what Lana Bane is going to do right now. Going to go ahead and head into Turtle Rock, green pendant Turtle Rock with a fire rod in hand. We can get all the way over to Laser Bridge, but we won't be able to kill Trinex. Okay, so I take it back. It's actually for 2 pixel movement on the for starting 2 pixels is north and west, or up and left, and 1 pixel starting at 1 pixel down and to the right. But it's a frame. It's a alternating 2 pixel, 1 pixel, 2 pixel, etc. for the for Link's walking speed. There's a if you want a bit more information about Link's movement, I will link to you movement page for a link from the ALTTPR speedrun wiki. And it looks like Mordecai found out that Ice Palace was cane locked. So you logically need to get the Cane of Samaria in order to finish up Ice Palace. Now, I'm going ahead and link the movement page on the ALTTPR wiki, or the ALTTPR wiki, the LTTP wiki for the main speedrun. So yeah, there's nothing. Mordecai is kind of just scratching his head, trying to figure out what next to do. I believe this is going to be the purple chest play to get the Cane of Samaria. Now this will be late. However, Mordecai does have knowledge about the Turtle Rock Medallion, and can also has access to it. But it could also be the Pendant Thieves Town play. Okay, so this will be a pretty pivotal moment in the race. Now, we're already in 2 Pendant Dungeons. Lana being in Green Pendant Thieves Town, or Green Pendant Turtle Rock, and Mordecai in regular Pendant Thieves Town. Mordecai has 2 more items left. Well, Lana Bean can get 5 items as long as the last item is not on Trinex. But after this, Mordecai will probably get the purple chest and turn that in for the cane. So if this is the bow, that will we will know of the two bows that we have available. One of them is in Zagina's cave, and the other will be wherever it is. Another thing that Lana Bean does have available to her is that Pyramid Fairy play. So if she doesn't find anything, she could opt to turn in the purple to turn in the big bomb and check out Pyramid Fairy for 2 items. Either way, this will at least finish up one of the 3, at least one of the 3 pendant dungeons that we have available. Or at least it's one of the 2 pendant dungeons we have available, while the other one is locked behind the flute. Blue meal in the maiden's cell, and there's the flute. Lana Bean is not happy to see that, because that leads over to Meyer. But one thing, as our tracker is pointing out too, we also have Desert Palace available through the mirror. So that actually does help out Lana Bean with clearing out crystals. We don't have the book, so this is actually pretty good for Lana Bean. So she will be in the Meyer area. She will also get access to, ooh, that's a pretty big launch there, and just a heart container from Blind. So the only thing that Mordecai just ends up finding is just blue mail, but that's all it really is, just blue mail. So at this point, we're looking at We're looking at a hookshot for go mode, and hookshot and flippers for go mode. Yeah, I was gonna say not just hookshot for go mode, but also flippers for go mode. And here comes the purple chest for Immortal Koi. We'll get the Can Samari out of this. And this will be it'll feel pretty bad for Immortal Koi, considering that he would have, had he come back for this, after the Skull Woods play, he would have had the cane way earlier. A lot of people have to be a little bit careful here. She does have that blue available, but opting to go ahead and get the safety door just in case. I like this. You're just gonna get it for 1 item, and you will be using that safety door anyway to get out of the Dark World, just to get out of there. But that's just a piece of heart in Laser Bridge that will do it. Oh yeah, and there's also that fairy in the ball. I completely forgot about that. And here comes something that we were talking about originally. Cane of Samaria. After getting the Cane of Samaria and from the purple chest, I'm going to go ahead and fall out into the bow. And this will be a kind of a late bow for Immortal Koi. And again, he's not happy. This is very late. He knows it's very late, and he could have done this a while ago. And he's very dissatisfied with that. And Lana Bean going to go ahead and activate the flute here. Ah, the sweet sounds of the ocarina, or flute, whatever you want to call it. Great mixing from our restream here. So yeah, this will lead over. Oh, and there's the flippers. So it's now a hook shot away from go mode. So yeah, this is very pivotal for Lana Bean. And it looks like those bombos for from Meyer. Not a big deal. We do get the book out of there, which is pretty funny. That opens up tablet checks and the pedestal read. Which does mean, I believe, I wasn't keeping track of the Ice Palace logic. So I don't know if Ice Palace was hookshot locked. There's a cave. Now, I don't see Lana getting that sword from Bumper Ledge unless she really, really wants it. So we're gonna go ahead and mirror, and we'll get those flippers, and we're now just a hookshot away from go mode. And for Mordecai, this is going to be a situation where, this will be a go mode of Pod and Eastern. Mordecai had already cleared this out. Pod, in this case, he had opted to do a potion camera unlock, which gave him access to Pod out of logic. Eastern Palace, he also had gone through. After Lana Bean hadn't gone through it and single dipped it, these two dungeons will be double dipped on Mordecai's side. And it looks like just Lana Bean wants to just go ahead and just get this Lamolus clear out of the way after seeing the item that was on the bait chest, which was 20 rupees. And if she doesn't get an item from off of Lamolus, that's totally fine. She can just go back in and find the item that way. And that will give and afterwards she could just mirror and do Checkerboard Cave, which I think she already did beforehand. And no, yeah, she did. So that will lead her over to Swamp Palace. Ice Palace is also now in logic for her. And this is interesting because that Ice Palace ends up being was not only Samaria locked from a dungeon, but it was also Samaria locked in the sense that you needed the flute to get the flippers off of Desert Ledge, because the book ended up being in Meyer's shed. And Duke's calling for ice over swamp for Lana Bean, and that's fine too. But with that Kena Samaria in hand, she'll be able to do Icebreaker, and that will help her get through the dungeon a little quicker than an Ice Palace bomb jump. She's going to go ahead and flute away here. Yeah, and just as predicted, we're going to go ahead and see that Ice Palace play. This makes a lot of sense. It's really a quick dungeon to clear with Icebreaker, and it's also in logic. And also the fact that it's also going also from 2 Firebird. It's just it's a matter of it's a completable ice, and you over what is a hookshotless swamp, which is not pleasant, but eventually you're gonna have to rip the bandage off. We're just over an hour and 3 minutes into the seed, and I'm just going to say this too. These runners are doing an incredible job, and it would be great to give them a follow. The bots commands are not working great. Immortal Koi and Lana Bean are doing great. I am Professor Renderer. I am calming this one solo, and we have Terry Pagula on trunking. He's doing a good job keeping me sane. And give me just little reminders in the chat. And you should give him a follow as well. He's doing great. And we're gonna go ahead and see Mordecai doing Armless Knights. Was not successful in getting the Armless Knight quick kill. Ended up being hit from an Armless Knight. Only leaving with just 8 arrows to spare. And that will be another crystal for Immortal Koi. Ice Palace was already cleared for Immortal because opted to go for a Samarios Ice Palace, which was out of logic, considering where the Flipper's location was. So we're going to go ahead and see the Pyramid Fairy check from Immortal Koi. But eventually all signs are going to point back to Green Pendant Turtle Rock. And as the whole old joke goes, if it's Green Pendant Turtle Rock, that means there is going to be something there. And that is definitely the case with this seed. And there's Duke Viper just giving up the little follow the runners thing. Has a little analog thing for the bot command's not working. Yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll just also drop in my my page as well. Here it is. You can give me a follows there. I'm taking a small bit of a break from streaming because I was going through a little break with Brando a bit, and there's the hook shots. So for Lana, so we're now in no mode, but for Immortal Koi, all he really needs to do is go up to Turtle Rock. And that is, and it looks like that's exactly what he's going to do. He's going to go and get the flute from Mimic Cave, and then follow that into the flippers, and that will be go mode. So now, so this is actually really good for Lana Bean actually, because if Lana Bean opts to go do a hookshotless swamp, she'll be right where the bomb shop's at. And that'd be great, because she'll get the hook shot, and then she'll immediately head back over to Swamp just to finish the game. Either that, or if Lana Bean wants to do the check first, that's totally fine. So, but it looks like it'll be a hookshotless swamp first, which is fine. Now, what could happen is, again, the bomb was check as well. That's also fine. She did get the book out of Meyer's Shed, so we're gonna go ahead and follow that through. Staying within logic. Oh, and the silver arrows were found behind the hookshot in Hookshot Cave final chest. So I don't see Lana Bean picking up those silvers unless she really, really, really wants to get it. And here it comes. We have Lana Bean heading over to Pyramid to go and check the Pyramid Fairy. With this call, she will be in go mode. She'll just go mode to Swamp Palace. If she really wants, yeah. Oh, okay, that's really a very clever way of doing that. Yeah, I mean, okay, now normally you don't see the bomb tube like that. Normally you'll see it when you come up towards the pyramid and you normally see it coming for the pyramid, but you can also, but that doesn't mean it's just tied to the pyramid. You could do it on any screen transition, and it will work just fine as long as you transition when it says 0, like as it says 0. And now Lana Beam is now in go mode at just before 1 hour and 9 minutes. Yeah, and this will be just a go mode swamp for Lana Bean, while Mordekoi is just going to go ahead and go through Turtle Rock. It'll feel very, very bad considering that the flute is going to be a Mimic Cave, and then following that up with Flippers, and that will be it. Yeah, and this is very much Lana Bean's race to lose. She has routed this very, very solidly. And this will be a single dip swamp, and she ended up making the right call after doing the Bombos tablet, just immediately before going to the Swamp Palace, just saving that extra time, just saving a bit of time, not going in there first off. And this is real, and this is really good for Lana Bean. You think this is intense? Try the race beforehand. This was the match between Artie Walsh and Solsky. Ended up in a 2-second difference, and the race had to be reviewed. I don't know about the official results yet about that race, because we didn't hear about it during the broadcast. But it is very cool. And it looks like from actually looking at the thing, it looks like it ended up being Solsky's win. I checked on the league website, and it ended up being a win from Solsky. It wasn't said on the. I don't think it was said during the broadcast. Then again, I only watched it before during the pre-stream near the end, just gonna see if they were gonna say anything about it. And here's a Motokoi's flute activation, and that will lead into the flippers from out of the Desert Ledge, and now we'll put Mordekoi into go mode. Is go mode for Mordekoi at 1:12:40. Just as I say that, Lana Bean has collected the 7th and final crystal for GT. Now there is 21 chests in a single choice to make up a total of 22 possible locations within GT. One of them has the big key. Put a number between 1 and 22, and if you get it exactly or close to it, then you get a little shout out from me. It says telling you good on you. Wow. This is definitely one thing to check out. I mentioned this earlier. Lana Bean is definitely someone that you should look into, coming up, because she's she is doing really, really well during these dailies. She's definitely making a name for herself. And as it stands, there are no finishers or forfeits to say about here. As we're coming up to the very end of the game here. Using the powder to get rid of the dead rocks by turning them into slimes. That is some nice little game knowledge from Lana Bean, showing that you can do this in the vanilla game. There's the burn for Immortal Koi, and that will be crystal number 6. Just needs to finish up Swamp Palace, and he'll be good to go. But we're kind of the GT now. Guesses will close as soon as she enters GT. And to answer a question in chat, yes, that does work on a dead rug in the vanilla game. It is that is vanilla behavior. And that was from Scorf 2014. And guesses are now closed. Going to start at Hope Room. Number 1 is 300 rupees. We have number 2 is a small key going to left side. This is a very common route. Number 3 is another small key. We're not gonna see Bob during this seed. Markoi heading through, getting into Swamp Palace. Number 4 is 20 rupees. Number 5 is another set of 20 rupees. Number 6 is a small key. Number 7 is another 20 rupees. Ew. Kinda lay it down on the 20 rupees, will you? And number 8 is another small key. Yeah, and I feel like the early bow from Lana Bean was definitely one of the major calls. But not just that. It was the decision to go into Turtle Rock while she had the Can of Samaria in hand way earlier than Immortal Koi. Because she opted to do this way earlier before earlier than Immortal Koi. She was the one first to get to it. Also, number 9 was a compass. Yeah, and there's a lot of things that happen with her route that puts Lana Bean way ahead here. Number 10 is the big key, and it looks like the closest one, because there's no 10, the closest one to it was the Ivy Raven with 11. So good on you. You win the game. I would give out unlimited random seeds, but you could just generate them on ALTTP.com. You already have unlimited random seeds. Heck, everyone has unlimited random seeds. They just don't know it. And it also looks like we had a prediction too going on while I was talking about it. It ended up being an even number. Markoi going into the Argus fight was going to try and do the 0 cycle, but did not get the timing down correct. Alana Bean about to start the gauntlet. And that will be crystal number 7 for Immortal Koi. And yeah, as I kind of mentioned earlier, the a lot of people will not get the silver arrows, and that's totally fine. She has all the time in the world. So Mordecai will save and quit. We'll go ahead and climb up Death Mountain for one last time, get into Ganon's tower. Now we'll see what route Mordecai chooses to take. Because 10 going into Hope Room and then full left was the correct call to make, and ended up being a rando room. I still love the Wizrobe rooms. It is so satisfying to pull that off. The second room in particular may be a little bit difficult for newer players, but it is a very satisfying room once you know how to pull it off. And that's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite ones. Just being able to pull it off. Sometimes it won't work because it gets because the Samaria the Samaria like breaking block thing just gets blocked by the spike. But that's fine. You can just clean it up pretty quickly. Say it only loses you some time, but it's not like detrimental or anything. Especially with Lana being pretty ahead. Because as a Mordecai is about to climb up, about to enter the tower, Lana Bean is already at Lambo 2, or Lambo 2, Moldarm 2. And that's been interesting that I didn't even know that from Duke Firework. The Samaria beans are actually affected by the floor in the conveyor floors, which is something I didn't even think about. And just because why not? Lana Bean does actually get a full heart refill from Moldarm 2. That wasn't a coincidence. That wasn't just like her setting it up. It just happened to be just by sheer coincidence. And Immortal Koi is just going to go ahead and do full ride. Now, this will put Immortal Koi away from the big key. While Lana Bean is already on Aga 2, on track for a sub 130. She's having some trouble with this Aga fight. Does get a double off. She does have a lot of time on her hands. She's definitely looking at a sub 130 here. For Lana Bean. So Aga 2 is down. I want to go ahead and finish up this game by killing Ganon. It'll be a Master Sword Silverless, or Master Sword Silverless. It'll be a Silverless fight. There is blue balls in the Aga 2 fight. It's just that we don't count them because there's 2 clones of Aga, including the real Aga, so it doesn't really matter. The only blue ball game that matters is the one for Aga 1. Lana Bean finds herself in a really good position. She's getting some good spins off of Ganon. Now into phase 3. And she will get information. She will know about where those silver arrows were. Unaware that she did pass them up on her way over to GT. The silver arrows were in the Dark World, and more specifically, it was in Hookshot K's final chest. Lana Bean does get Torch Glitch off. There's Mordekai's big key. Yeah, I get to use often referred to as the geometry wizard because of how the more specific knocking back at the blue balls needed for the red balls needed for Aga, because there's multiple ones at once. Some say it's some people will call it a trick test. I don't see it I don't see it really as a trick test. It's more I feel it's more of a skill of an angling skill test. If we're talking about trick, we gotta like talk about like sines and cosines and all that stuff. But that will do it for Lana Bean. GG's in the chat. She will be finishing this up. We'll get the official race time for you. And she will be crossing the bridge, finishing first on our restream with an official race time of 1:24.48 in second place behind Mendium, with taking the first place spot with 1:19 flat. Very well played for Lana Bean. She had a really good route going, and the stars just all aligned for her. And here is Lana Bean. GG's, an excellent performance for you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay, so
and GG.
GG, yeah. So run us through the seed. There's a lot to say about this thing.
Yeah, it was an interesting start. My hands were very cold throughout the seed, so some of my execution was a little bit lacking.
It happens sometimes. There was a lot of interesting things that happened with this seed in particular, namely with that Kina Samaria from the purple chest. You were the first one compared to Mordekoi. You were the first one to get it, and it wasn't until Mordekoi was nearing the end of during his last location run that he got it last, following that up into where was for you was the first bow in Agina's cave, and Mordekoi was not pleased because he ended up doing Pod out of Logic and Ice Pals out of Logic. So it ended up really hurting Mordekoi, considering what the logic was to get into Ice, was that not only you needed the cane, but you also needed the flippers you also needed the flutes, and then you needed the flippers off of Bumper Ledge. So it was that Ice Pals was locked off very much.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the reasons why I decided not to go into Ice when I forgot I didn't have flippers and decided to jump in the lake, and then I decided to turn around from there. But I was thinking that can throw people off as if they decided to turn in the powder before going to Agina and getting the bow. I was thinking if that happened, anyone who did that could end up last locationing bow later if silvers weren't available somewhere else.
Yeah. And actually a good thing about that, as you mentioned, the silvers ended up being in the last chest of Hookshot Cave. So you were close to it, just ended up just passing it by, just on your way over to GT.
Yeah, I guess I decided not to check that since I was already in go mode. If I was more consistent in hovering, I probably would have gotten that earlier, but I was trying to stay fairly close to Logic when I realized Hookshot had to be readily available, and then I suddenly got Book, and...
Yeah, actually, the book ended up being your lifesaver because that book led you over to the Pyramid Fairy, and that was the tip-off point for you being in go mode.
Very true. I was planning on routing in Pyramid Fairy even if I didn't get Book, because it was early enough in Logic that I thought if the game was going to place the hookshot somewhere reasonably early enough, it'd be there. But then what kind of scared me is Desert Palace being locked by Turtle Rock and Samaria locking that, of course.
Yeah,
I'm learning.
yeah. I mean, I mean, you're putting up some really good performances either way. It is very much. You're doing the best. You're doing the best is on against some of the best players here. Um, but yeah, that Turtle Rock was also very pivotal because it's because of the fact that Mordecai was still on that hunt for that cane and bow, because of that decision that you made to do purple chest along the way. Just yeah.
I was seriously thinking about skipping that, and then after I got my fire rod and then went to Skull Woods, I was thinking if I didn't check that now, I would be forced to near last location that with Graveyard Lich and King's Tomb. So I thought if I wasn't going to do it then, I was not going to do it. And since I already had it set up to be able to just run all the way south to Hype Cave and everything, it was now or never. And it was either do that last location or near, or do it right then and there and hopefully it had something good. And I was not pleased because it had Samaria, and at the time I thought, oh, crud. That could end up pointing me into Turtle Rock or Mire later, and fortunately, It was just pointing into more logic.
Yeah, and at least the good thing was that the bomb was never shut up anywhere, so which was very, very handy for you. And I will say too, Motokoi has finished second place on a restream with a time of 1:30:01. And that will be good for fifth place overall, with Great Anti-Bob fourth place, 1:29:47, and Koi third place with a time of 1:25:04. And here's Immortal Koi with a K. GG.
GG, Koi.
Yeah.
GG.
Yeah. Ooh. So this was a kind of an interesting one.
Yeah, I skipped purple chest.
Yeah. Yeah. And so did Lana Bean also end up doing the same thing, but Lana Bean ended up getting the purple chest before you, and it just ended up being a situation where you ended up diving into Out of Logic, Ice Palace, and Pod and Eastern. It was just kind of this unfortunate situation for you that it just ended up having you leave that for such a long time, just to get you back into Logic. But other than that, what was your thoughts on the seed?
Oh, my bad. I had something was wrong with my headphones, so couldn't hear you.
Oh, okay. So I was saying what your thoughts on the seed. And I was also talking about what happened with you in your Ice Palace and Pawn Eastern endeavors.
Oh, yeah. So I was just hoping for a bow pretty much to bail me out because I knew I was pretty screwed. Yeah. And then my route just skipping purple chest really cost me.
Yeah, it is as late as it ended up being for you, because Lana Bean also had skipped it in favor of going into Skull Woods, which was perfectly acceptable, and it's a totally reasonable move. It's just that Lana Bean, like I mentioned, just being there before you. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, I was planning on running down after Moth, but I just figured I was saving quit and just save a bunch of time and just go to Hype Cave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Honestly, also I will say this, Lana Bean, I like the bomb dupe that you end up doing, a little just as a quick recovery, because you end up jumping off the hill, which gets rid of your which leaves the bomb behind. So nice recovery from that.
Yeah, it was intentional. I like doing that move. It saves some time.
Oh, I think it ends up losing you time. I don't know. I haven't timed it, so. But it is kind of a cool little thing to show off.
Yeah, fair enough. It's definitely fun. It's more it's more efficient if you have the hook shot, which that kind of led to. But
Yeah. I don't really have anything else to say about this too. So, have you got any final thoughts on this?
Yeah. Oh, you go ahead.
no, go for it. You're good.
I was gonna say I was like since I skipped CAC early, like I was thinking I'll just go to Gina and just like gamble on something there, and when I found the bow later, I was like, oh my god, I would have been like really good if I had just went to Gina like before CAC and had bow really early. But yeah, that felt really bad. But yeah, just
good scene.
yeah, interesting to see, and thanks for restreaming it. I always enjoy watching it back, and thanks for everything.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank you very much for the restream and the tracking and everything. You all do a fantastic job, and really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Commentating, always good commentating. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah.
All right, so that'll do it. So I'm gonna have a schedule up. So we're entering into Wednesday as me being in Eastern. So coming up for today over Eastern, at least it'd be very early for this one. 7:10 a.m. Dragonsight versus Area. For league match, we have Luigi's Mansion 100% tournament matchup at noon. If you like funny ghost hunting games, you might want to check this one out. It's one of the best ones. It's my influence on. It's one of my influences, being what my character's based around. We have another daily race coming up at 2 p.m. On Speaking 2, not to be running against the said ghost hunting tournament. And then we eventually we have a couple more invitational and open league playoff races. JK Lol and Rando Baby are going into Hard Randomizer. That'll be a fun one to watch. And then we have Shaq Tool's digging game with the Titans Mitts facing off at a game of Sorless with Dainty versus Aussie at 5:40 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to, that's some of the highlights that I will point out. On Thursday, coming up, starting from 9 a.m. and working all the way through 3 p.m., we have the Speedy Fist 2021 Marathon. So a nice little thing to watch early on during Thanksgiving if you do celebrate it. So if you want to keep your eyes out for those, and please follow the Speed Gaming channels, Speed Gaming 2 through 6. The multilingual channels are also there too. We have Speed Gaming Espanol, French, Portuguese, Spanish, Portuguese, French, and I think Italian or something like that. I should know this by now. There's 4 of them. But they're Dutch, French, Portuguese, Spanish. Yeah, that's what I want. And of course, follow the runners. They've done a really good job. They are some of our highlights here within this community. And then, of course, I'm Professor Renderer. I was the one commentating solo here on this nice little evening. And then we have my good commentator, Terry Pagula. Thanks again for doing the tracking and keeping me sane. And until then, we'll see you for the next Link to the Past Randomizer Daily Race. Have a good day, and take it easy.